Hey all, thanks for stopping in. Today we'll be briefly discussing the horror genre in VR. I feel like the VR differentiation is definitely a necessary one, as flat screen horror movies and games are definitely still scary, but the in-your-face panic and just frantic feeling that can come sometimes when you're cornered is just a different feel than what you're going to get in any other media right now. I remember the first time I played Resident Evil Village in VR, and the first time I ran into one of the Lycan, which is one of the first enemies you come across in that game, I barely knew what to do. I could shoot it, I could stab at it, and I felt powerless, and I couldn't even kill it at the time. And then once I later calmed down and learned that everything was going to be okay if it grabbed me and ate my face, then, I was able to kind of overcome that and fight while thinking as opposed to being really frantic, which is what tends to happen in VR. It's definitely something that didn't come natural to me. I certainly had to train my brain to not freak out and to be able to calmly react, as opposed to just that fast knee-jerk reaction of flailing about. It doesn't help anything. You just, like any real situation in which you have to take care of things, freaking out never solves anything. Staying calm and working on the problem at hand is always the best thing to do, and it's the same in VR. But it is something that doesn't come natural for most people, I don't think. I'd be curious to know if you are one of those people that it does come natural to, that you just stepped into VR, start playing horror games, no worries at all, balls to the walls. I know there's people like that out there. If you're one of those guys or girls, please let me know. So I just kind of wanted to talk about how I got from being terrified and barely able to kill one of the most basic enemies in a VR horror game to being able to take on whatever comes out in a VR horror game. I'm still going to get got by a jump scare here and there, but there is not much that gets me in VR anymore. Walking around those corners is more exciting than scary, and there's definitely things you can do to train yourself to get to that point, and I just kind of want to talk about that a little bit. Certainly the first and easiest one is just keep in mind it's a game and you can stop whenever you want. So don't be afraid to just hit the pause button, or if you can't hit the pause button, just stop the game, take the headset off, whatever it is you got to do to get yourself out of that situation. If you're actually that scared, there's no reason to be sitting there. Take it a little bit at a time and slowly desensitize yourself. Next, I'd have to say another thing to get comfortable with is dying. Go ahead and let a zombie horde just take you out. Let one of these crazy creatures just eat you. Get used to getting killed up close and personal, and it really helps overcome the fear of what's going to happen, and it makes it way less intense. Because that's the main factor, is that everything is so... Your brain has basically been tricked into believing that you're in the scenario, so something behind your back, even though it's a video game, it literally feels like it's behind you, and that can be a terrifying feeling when you're not used to it. Even just walking through a corridor or turning a corner is terrifying until you learn how to cope in the VR world, for lack of a better way to put it. I'd also say pacing yourself is definitely key to introducing yourself to the horror genre. Start out slowly, learn the basics, limit yourself to 10, 20, 30 minutes at a time, whatever your brain can handle. Maybe it's 5 minutes at a time, and just slowly work your way through it, just like anything else. Like I was talking with stopping, it's just a matter of basically desensitizing yourself to being immersed in horror. I mean, it is intense, and until you get used to it, it doesn't stop being intense. So just moderating your time is one of the key ways to slowly get your, play this game and then play something super lighthearted. Play another round of it and then go and just relax and don't think about anything scary. I mean, if you're completely averse to horror 100%, there's no reason you should be playing these games. But if you're interested in it and just having a hard time adjusting, then these things will definitely help. Moderation for sure. And I think the last thing, and probably the most important, and maybe the most obvious, but easier said than done, is just remember it is a video game and none of it's real. It certainly feels real though, and I think that's why I'm making this video, because I know I'm not the only person that started off ripping their headset off in terror and practically throwing it to the ground. It can be very unnerving. I mean, even if you're well versed in the horror genre, I love horror movies, horror games, but just getting into it in VR is a little different. So I just wanted to put that out there. And, remember, take your time. You can pause when you need to. Moderate your gameplay. Let yourself get killed once or twice. Face the scary stuff first, and that really helps you desensitize yourself. Because basically that's what you have to do. You have to desensitize yourself to the gore, the fear, the tension, all those things that make VR fun and enjoyable. You really have to desensitize yourself to experience them. And the horror genre is full of very artistic and beautiful games. I think it's one of the most creative genres in all of gaming, and especially VR. Alright, thanks to everyone who stopped by. I really appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe if you found this content enjoyable, and I really appreciate it. Have a good one.